Imagine having some wild idea for an image pop into your head. And then, boom, seeing it come to life right in front of you in just a few seconds. Well, that's not science fiction anymore. We're about to dive deep into the world of AI image generation, a technology that is completely changing the game for how we create art, and maybe even what it means to be creative in the first place.
And really, this is the whole disruption in a nutshell. Think about the old way, the traditional creative process. All those hours, the painstaking effort, the endless revisions. Now, put that right next to AI, where a complex idea can be visualized and spit out almost instantly. We're literally talking about a shift from days of work to a matter of seconds.
So how in the world does a machine take a simple sentence and turn it into a complex, totally original image? What's the secret sauce that makes all this possible? All right, let's pull back the curtain and break it down.
Okay, so at its heart, an AI image generator is kind of like a visual translator for the entire internet. It's been trained by studying a massive, and I mean massive library of images and the text that describes them. It's learned the patterns and connections between words like cat or astronaut and all the little pixels that make up what those things look like.
Now, the main technique powering all of this is something called diffusion, and it's a really fascinating process. It's less like an artist painting on a blank canvas and a lot more like a sculptor finding a masterpiece that was hiding inside a block of pure chaos.
So here's how it works. It's basically a three-step dance. First, the AI starts with nothing but a screen full of random digital noise, like old-school TV static. Then, using your text prompt as its map, it starts to remove the noise. It's looking for any patterns in that chaos that might match your words, and it slowly starts to refine them. And with each pass, a clear picture begins to emerge from the static, almost like a photograph developing right before your eyes. It's pretty amazing to watch.
But look, this technology is way more than just a cool party trick. It's quickly becoming an absolutely essential tool for professionals. So let's check out how it's actually being used out there in the real world across all kinds of different industries.
The versatility is just astounding. You can generate photorealistic images that are basically impossible to tell apart from real photographs. You can create digital art in any style you can dream up, design logos, whip up technical drawings, and even invent stylized characters for video games or movies. The creative ceiling has just been blown wide open.
For anyone in a creative field, this is a total game changer. It's a true force multiplier. Imagine being able to rapidly prototype dozens of ideas in an afternoon, or create amazing marketing content without having to book a crazy expensive photo shoot. Or what about storyboarding an entire film in a fraction of the time? It just accelerates the whole creative pipeline.
Of course, not all these tools are created equal. You've got Midjourney, which is a huge favorite in the community for its stunning, artistic, and cinematic results. Then there's DALL-E 3, which is incredible at understanding really long, complicated prompts. Adobe's Firefly is designed from the ground up to be commercially safe. And then you have these newer models like FluxPoint 2, which are getting shockingly good at tough details like hands and, get this, readable text.
But it's not all perfect masterpieces and flawless workflows. Nope, there's a ghost in the machine, and sometimes the magic trick fails in very public and frankly very complicated ways.
And this is the big question that developers, artists, and even lawyers are all grappling with right now. What are the real limits of this tech, and what are the consequences when it messes up?
The problems, well, they range from the kind of funny to the deeply profound. On one hand, you have what we call hallucinations, the classic glitches like people with 6 fingers or shadows that defy the laws of physics. But the much, much tougher challenges are ethical and legal. The AI doesn't have any real creative intent, and how it was made is wrapped up in a whole lot of controversy.
And of all these challenges, there's one that stands head and shoulders above the rest, sparking massive lawsuits and a global debate, and that's copyright.
So here's the absolute heart of the issue. To learn how to make images, these AI models were fed billions of pictures scraped from all over the internet. And inevitably, that dataset included a gigantic amount of copyrighted artwork and photos, all used without the permission or even the knowledge of the original artists. This quote from a huge class action lawsuit really just nails the artist's perspective. They're arguing that these tools aren't really creating anything new at all. They say they're essentially just incredibly sophisticated collage tools that are remixing and repurposing their protected work on an unbelievable scale.
So this is the multi-billion-dollar question, right? Does training an AI on all this data count as fair use, kind of like how a human artist learns by studying other people's work,
Or is it a direct, massive, and unprecedented violation of intellectual property rights? Right now, the courts are still trying to figure that out.
Okay, so with all these thorny challenges, how do we move forward with this stuff responsibly? Well, the focus is now shifting to trying to build ethical guardrails directly into the development of these incredibly powerful AI tools.
And that brings us to the super important field of AI ethics. And look, this isn't just about code. It's really about people. It's about creating a set of guidelines to make sure these AI systems are built in a way that actually helps us and aligns with our values, building trust instead of accidentally tearing it down. A lot of organizations are trying to figure this out. One really useful framework actually comes from IBM, which offers up a kind of ethical compass to help guide developers and creators through this totally new territory.
And their core principles are pretty straightforward. It's all about taking accountability for what the AI creates. It's about designing systems that are culturally aware and inclusive, and actively working to reduce bias. And just as important, it's about making sure the AI's process is explainable, that it's not a black box, and that user privacy is protected, always.
But even as all these debates are raging, the technology itself is already taking another huge leap forward. The next big thing is so-called agentic AI. This could transform these tools from things that just follow a command into true creative partners. AI agents that can understand a big picture goal like design a marketing campaign, and then figure out and execute all the creative steps to get there on its own.
So this crazy fast evolution, combined with all these deep ethical questions, it really forces us to step back and ask a really fundamental question about what it even means to be creative in this new era.
So, I leave you with this. What do you think? Is this technology just the next evolution of the paintbrush, a powerful new tool that's going to unlock human potential in ways we can't even dream of yet? Or does it represent a genuine threat to the value of human art and the very livelihood of creators? The final chapter of that story is still being written.